Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Kyle Lowry. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball
Podcast.
I am your host, Freddie Rivas. And who, sir, are you?
I'm the producer, Matt Duncan. Fred, this could be your last week doing the Kyle Lowry thing. Do you think? Could this be it?
Could be.
You're still huge in the camp that he's coming back to Toronto, and I love it. I love the positivity.
I'll say some of the confidence is waning as we get closer to the draft, but I respect Kyle so much. To me, it's important to hit him with the Kyle Lowrys. Yeah. I'm enjoying every little Kyle Lowry since the foregone conclusion that he was gone at the deadline, right? Because that was a certainty. So for me, the certainty that he is gone this offseason, I'll wait. I think there's a strong likelihood, but I'm enjoying it,
Yeah, you know what? Either way, he'll come back here one day and we're gonna get that jersey up in the rafters.
Oh, you better believe it.
So we're champions, so
damn right.
It's gotta be
damn right. And we are, a basketball Raptors podcast. We're hardcores. We like to think we have some nice analysis, but we're also not profesh. We're funny dudes and trying to have some fun. And we have funny guests. We have Cathryn Naiker and Matt McCready on today. They're both hilarious. Things get silly. We talk about players we used to love. We go down a lot of weird rabbit holes, but there's good stuff in there. Maddie, if people are like, whoa, these guys need a hand. Or they just want to do something nice for us. What are some avenues for that?
You can go to dunkspodcast.com, as I like to say, because we've got all our links there for you to subscribe or listen to the episodes or go back into our time capsule of our seasons if you want to go back and hear what we were saying about Biombo or hear what we were saying about Chuck Hayes. Or,
sure.
We've got it all recorded for you to go back and listen to, as that beautiful time capsule. But we are on the Sonar Network, okay? And they got lots of podcasts there. Go to the sonarnetwork.com, as well as in the episode descriptions. Click on the guests, and it will take them to their own Sonar page. So you can listen to, if you're really liking Matt McCready's takes, you can see all the episodes he's done for us, and there have been a lot. And actually, Cathryn, I guess, has the record. She's probably somewhere over 30 episodes, I would say.
Woo!
They've given us a lot of time and a lot of great content, and we're very thankful for all of our guests. And we would be thankful for you too if you go to our Patreon and you are able to chip in a little bit. That would be great. You can get the podcast episodes on the day that they air, as well as the more you pay up, the more stuff you get. And we're just going to keep, hopefully as it grows, we could have more stuff available for Patreon too,
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much it. The toques, there's no moths eating them. They're anti-itch. Freddie's got them like in a cryo chamber, I think, in one of his rooms there. So they're not getting moldy. They're frozen like Sylvester Stallone in Demolition Man. You know that thing at the start?
Oh yeah.
You see the tank.
Check out Demolition Man. Wesley Snipes uses somebody's eyeball from a pen. It's pretty intense. Check it out. Demolition Man. Really, really good movie, like Oscar worthy. It's I don't even know where I got lost in the bit. Maddie.
If you explain how to use the shells, maybe you'll get a free toque. Can't promise it, but
there you go. Yeah, it was about the toque. That's why I lost my way. But they're real toques. People need to know that we have real toques if you want one, and it's mint condition. Okay, minted toques. Check it out. Help us out. We really, really appreciate it. And even if you're just listening, thank you. Yeah, I think let's get rolling here on the pod. But before we
Sounds
do, I will say, Black Lives Matter, stop Asian hate, email your city councilors, and defund the police. And I think with that, let's get cooking here. Maddie D, if you're ready to go, please just give me those amazingly glorious words. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's do this. I am very excited to start having, I guess, a draft pod, but other things are going on too. Let's bring on two of my favorite people. First coming on, he's an amazing improviser. He's a wicked producer. He has one of the basketball opinions I respect the most in the world. We talk basketball every day. We're like true basketball maniacs. It always makes sense when he's on this podcast. Please give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Matt McCready.
I always make sense when I'm on the podcast. No tomfoolery at all.
No
Hey,
tomfoolery, you said?
No tomfoolery, no shenanigans, no flim-flam artistry. Just Matt McCready in the flesh. I'm glad to be here, Freddie. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
I'm happy to have you here. You're a smooth talker. You're a smooth walker.
No lower body injuries yet. I still got my smooth walk going at 37.
You got that nice smooth walk. Let's bring on guest number 2 because I want to start talking basketball ASAP. She's amazing. If you listen to this podcast, even infrequently, you've heard her because she's on all the time. We run another podcast together, the Pickup WNBA podcast. Make sure you check that out. Also on the Sonar Network. She's an incredible writer. Also has her own podcast, Buckets and Tea. Yeah, follow her on Instagram, follow her on Twitter. She's amazing. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Cathryn Naiker.
I didn't come up with a theme song, yeah.
McCready really intimidates people because he comes in like bit heavy. Hey,
yeah.
Him and Ned
Well, now I'm
Petrie?
prepared. Next time, I'll know now. Next time I'm on the pod with McCready, I got to come in hot with a full-on theme song, but with that cool vibe, with the cool intro vibe that I get too,
Yeah, like, you know what?
Maybe I'll learn how to rap. Who knows? I won't.
Please.
I won't do that to people.
I'd argue that your song was better than mine, to listen to.
For sure. Definitely. Matt's song is, or McCready's song, I'd say it's one of the more annoying choices by.
It's atrocious.
Maddie D's feeling it. Every time I say annoying, you'll hear that little ding. Just kidding, but he's feeling fast and loose on the keys, which is always welcome. People come here, not really for the basketball commentary. We know they actually come here for the audio foley and the bits and the gigs and the laughs. Let's talk some Raptors ball. Maddie
Hell
D,
yeah.
please. Good sir, give me your most delicious Raptors, maybe last Aaron Bainesy sting.
Paging Bobby Webster.
Okay. Meow. Let's start with Cathryn. What is the best possible draft outcome for the Raptors? It's in 2 days or 1 day if you're listening to this.
I think the best outcome is for the Raptors to trade upwards in the draft and get Evan Mobley.
Wow. I love that you have such a specific opinion. I've definitely in my draft, research really started to like Mobley as a fit for the Raptors. Like, yeah, where is that? Are you thinking fit?
Yeah, I mean, he's a 7-footer and he can spread the floor. And, okay, just like broad terms, like with the league, I know everybody's obsessed with going small, but I really think the league is moving forward to a place where you're actually really big, but also spreading the floor at the same time. And so for him to be a 7-footer, but very athletic, We saw all those pictures of Giannis, like, oh, look at how scrawny he was when the Bucks drafted him, and then how big he grew. I don't think he'll be exactly like Giannis, but I think he can grow the same way. Like, I think he'll put on a few pounds. I don't think he'll grow more inches. I don't think he needs to. But I think, like the Raptors don't have somebody in the 5 spot going forward. That needs to be filled. He's a young player with a lot of upside. I just think it solves a lot of problems for the Raptors, because we definitely, for all the Jason Suggs talk, we don't need another guard. We're already a very guard heavy team. And even if Lowry leaves, which I anticipate he will leave, we still don't need a guard necessarily. Like we are desperate for a center. Evan Mobley.
Right. Yeah. No, I think like the Evan Mobley case to me makes a lot of sense. I think like just also the way the Raptors play, if we're going to continue to be this like gamble heavy defense that needs a center to kind of quarterback it, who has a really high IQ and athleticism, I think we saw how hard that is. Obviously Baines made it look extra hard. Sorry, Aaron Baines, if you always get burned on this pod. We're just trying to.
I got 6 up my sleeve, man. I can't wait.
Go. It's got to happen. Raptors fans are frustrated, and anyhow, Mobley, I totally get it. Let me just ask you this though: who cares about the exact like machinations? But like when you say move up to get Mobley, what in general are you kind of like willing to sacrifice? Like in that type scenario, like again, it doesn't have to be a concrete like.
I wouldn't trade Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, or Pascal Siakam, but I think anyone outside of that 3 is up for grabs. But I would also it's hard for me to know what would be quote unquote a fair trade,
right?
But
it could be picks
if you're
as
trading
well.
the 2 pick for the 4 pick plus a future pick, like next year's first round pick, I think that's worth it.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely worth it.
Totally. And I think
because for like a team like a Houston Rockets, like they're in a full rebuild mode. So if they got somebody like Jason Suggs and then had a first round draft pick next year, like the Raptors pick on top of their pick, which won't they're not making the playoffs. So you're getting 2 like very high. I mean, I don't know where the Raptors will be next year, but you're getting 2 fairly high picks next year as well as Jason Suggs. To me, that's like a pretty good deal.
Totally. I'm glad I didn't interrupt you because you basically made my exact point with Houston. I feel like the only thing I will say is it's Jalen Suggs.
Oh, my bad.
Just assume everyone's a Jalen.
My brother's name's Jason. Shout out. Hi, Jason.
Jason, if you're listening, what's up, man? Jalen, if you're listening, wow, thank you. Also, wait a second. I'm sorry, Jason. Oh, wow, thank you as well. You're both equal. McCready, maybe respond to that a little bit, because you're a hardcore draft guy. Like I always go to you for insights, and I know you know a lot about these top 4 guys and beyond. Could you just speak to the Mobley thing for a sec, and then let me know what your ideal draft thing is?
Sure. I mean, I never mess up Jalen Suggs' name because my brother's name is Suggs. Suggs McCready. Shout out to Suggs.
Hey, Suggs.
5 feet tall. Suggs is the man.
Suggs McCready is
hey,
a
Suggs.
great name.
Honestly, I would change it if I could. Yeah, I mean, I have some I'll just go through kind of like some of Cathryn's points. Yeah, I mean, Giannis's body, I kind of like when I look at Mobley's body, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Chris Boucher's kind of frame. Like he's got like really high hips. He's a little like thin shoulders. I wonder how much bulk he can kind of put on. And definitely in year 1, I think he's just going to get like pushed around big time underneath the basket. I like Mobley. I actually kind of prefer Suggs in a vacuum. But to me, like, Cade is number 1 with a bullet. He's such an amazing shooter, great passer, optimal size for his position. But to me, the other 3 are kind of like a crapshoot a little bit. It's kind of like who of these 3 is going to be able to like nail jump shots? at a high rate. And
Right.
whoever that of the three is are probably going to end up being the best of those three players. Like, because Suggs, he's got like pretty much everything else in his bag. Green is the fastest twitch athlete you can probably ask for. Creative finisher around the basket. Not much of a passer, but maybe that'll come in time. And Mobley, if he can't really shoot, you better hope he puts on a lot of bulk, because otherwise, what kind of is he? I have Suggs number 2 on my board. I kind of would love if they grabbed Suggs. I kind of like I was listening to this weird podcast. It was really boring and long, and it kind of made me sad. It made me depressed because the guy was so real about everything. He's just like, oh, only one of these 3 guys is probably going to end up being any good. He's just such a realist. It's not really what I go for. But one of the things I found kind of interesting that he was saying was what is developable amongst prospects. And there is that stance, like shooting is developable. Like you have like Kawhi is the golden example of this. He came in as not a shooter and developed into one. But how many of these guys like come in, should be able to shoot, and then just never develop whatsoever? Like Tony Craig, like how come he can't shoot? You know what I mean? It's not that common of a thing. And he position that feel that like to use a terrible term, basketball IQ is maybe a more difficult thing for people to develop. And that's kind of why I'm leaning more towards Suggs, because I just find that his basketball IQ is off the charts. And I just think that because of that and because of his athleticism, he's can't miss as long as his jumper doesn't regress from where it is.
Right. Yeah, I think my thing with Suggs is like, the more I've watched him and the more I've seen him, it just seems like he needs to be in the NBA to see where he reaches his like natural limit. Like he's one of those guys who, if you're watching like a documentary about him, it's like he's meeting every single big moment. If you think about him like versus the other guys, I don't really, I guess, yeah, Cade, like you said, perfectly, perfect, like amazing size for his position. And even though he doesn't have the LeBron style, like, or Zion style athleticism, he looks kind of perfect, like, especially for the NBA. But yeah, Suggs looks like, I don't know. There's no any criticism I've seen doesn't really go out of their way to say like he will stop at any specific point. Like, I'm not sure if I'm being clear there, but what I'm trying to say is like, even the folks that are saying, oh, I'm not sure if he's a multi-level all-star, no one will say like, because of this, like the only thing you kind of hear is his shooting, but seemingly, like you said, like it's a developable skill. And I feel like that he handles the ball so much, it seems like it will be kind of a natural step for him. Like for me, this Suggs has one of the lowest or like one of the highest ceilings in the entire draft, if not the highest.
Yeah, I mean, he hit his step back threes at a pretty high rate, and his release is quick too. So I don't know. I'm just kind of like to me, he seems like the most Raptor-y type of player, and the Raptors have done well by getting Raptor-y type of guys. So I get that, but I also understand that like we do have a lot of guards, but I don't really think that when it comes to when you're getting a player of like these guys kind of magnitude, that you would let someone like Malachi Flynn kind of stick in the way. Because I like Malachi, but I just don't see him as being anything more than, at best, like, I don't know, the 20-something best point guard in the league.
Right. And yeah, like kind of going back to Catheryn's original point too, like I think there are, like, especially, if Lowry is still technically in the mix, there is a lot of like, there's too many minutes. If if you're bringing in a guy like Suggs, you're going to want to clear the way. Like, I hope if we draft Suggs, he's playing 25 minutes a game, right? Like I want him to develop and be a big part of the team. I feel like I'm rarely like this, but I'm getting really excited for the draft and the movement around the draft. And I just feel like there's a lot of desperation out there. So I'm kind of wanting some excitement. I don't know if it's with OKC or if I'm talking myself into Ben Simmons too much, because I think I kind of am. But I don't know what it is exactly, but I feel like things have been so quiet for so long for the Raptors. We're still unsure about Masai. His contract expired, and yeah, so I think I just want some excitement, and I feel like it would be fun if the Raptors were like making draft day deals. Like I know we don't historically, but It would be cool. And I'm assuming those
Except for
deals
Vince Carter.
except
Like,
yeah.
he made one very historic.
That was a big
draft
one.
day deal.
Yeah.
I also
don't
wa-
know. Like, sorry. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I also think, it's sometimes it's easy to be like, wow, Luka and Trey, Dallas wins forever. But getting that extra pick, like who knows what DeAndre Hunter will become? And Trey is awesome. And I'm not even trying to make a case for Atlanta winning that trade. I just feel like if you're confident in your drafting, well, I guess you wouldn't miss Luka. But I mean, if you're confident in your drafting, I think that's enticing to me. Like, again, I know it's a top heavy thing, but if Masai is really confident and he can get still 2 top 10 picks for the 4th or something, it all depends on the confidence level. Sorry, Cathryn.
No, there's a lot to unpack there. I don't know. Like, I just feel like if in some way we don't get a real center for this season, we're going to be talking about a top draft pick next year. Right. Like, so to me, it's like, yes, like I'm not going to disagree with anything McCready said in terms of like what Suggs is like and how NBA ready he is. And I agree that Evan Mobley will probably have a couple of years of like a growth spurt. But like, I'm kind of assuming that Lowry's leaving, and I'm assuming we're going to be in a full rebuild and not in win now mode. But if we want any semblance of like a playoff team, we need a center. And so I think the Raptors will be active during the draft and during the off season. I do anticipate some trades happening. I don't know who exactly, but don't worry, Freddie. I think the next few weeks are going to get very interesting.
Ooh, I like that end.
Yeah. And I didn't even mention Jared Allen. Like, I think he could be a part of the equation.
Oh my God, I love Jared Allen.
Especially because of Cleveland. Like, I think, I think
ideally, sorry.
No, just a lot of possibilities. Sorry, McCready.
Ideally, Cleveland just takes Mobley. We get Suggs, and then they're like, we have Mobley. We don't need Allen. And then we get Allen,
That would be amazing. I would love that.
That would be downright wonderful. And like, that's the excitement I'm talking about. Like, that would be
amazing.
I feel like that's almost possible. Like, and maybe there's just a certain bleakness to last year, and I'm looking for some type of recharge, but it seems like there's a lot of talk. The Raptors rumors are always tough to navigate through because, often it seems like other teams are talking about the Raptors, but a lot of names out there. Okay, let's go on to a bit of a silly question. Maddie D, if you don't mind coming in. I won't put you first, but the Raptors extended qualifying offers to Gary Trent Jr., which is not a surprise. They're just making sure that they're in the position to match, any offer he receives. They've also, I think, pushed off the Rodney Hood qualifying offer or rights a couple days, and Aaron Baines's rights. They have to make a choice on that on the 3rd. And I think this is really funny, they also maintain the rights of Nando DeColo, who's 34 years old, played for the Raptors in 2013. He was playing for France, and they just beat Team USA. He looked good. So, this is all so funny to me. I think he has absolutely no intention of ever playing in the NBA. Again, he played for the Raptors for, I think, 15, 20 games. But every year the Raptors make sure they offer him a qualifying offer to say, hey, if you come to the NBA, it's to play for us. So anyways, I just feel like it's such dedication. We're 8 years later, it's a joke pretty much. So I want to know, which former Raptor, amongst my friends, and hardcore Raptors fans here, is who do you still think about? Who do you want to send a message to maybe bring them back, even if they're too old to play? It's important to you. I don't know if it's Amir or JYD or which beloved Raptor you still hold a place in your heart for, but I want to know what the gesture is. Tell me what you're going to do to bring them back. And it can't just be offer them a qualifying offer because, okay. I feel like my weirdo question, I finally made it there. McCready, can I start with you?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I love Serge. I'm kind of leaning maybe towards Serge. But I think I'm going to have to go a little bit further back and go with Charles Oakley. Because I think like me doing like having a romantic gesture with any player is probably a fruitless endeavor by my end, because I just don't see them being interested in having a relationship with me.
Sure.
My lack of coolness and wealth is probably a pretty big turnoff for them. So I'd say I'd take like Charles
Don't
Oakley.
sell yourself short,
Listen, I do the best I can, but I know my limits in terms of who I can pick up. And I think like a professional athlete is like a little bit below their standards. So that being said, if I'm doing it anyways, if it has to happen, I'm going on like a romantic, rowboat with Charles Oakley. I'm wearing a nice dress and a nice parasol. He's in his summer best. We got a little picnic going. He's just so sad that he has to do this, but he's going through the whole date. We're going to a nice park afterwards. He eventually, maybe I make him laugh a couple times. Maybe we fall in love. And if so, I get divorced and I marry Charles Oakley. And it's just like a nice afternoon. And he can come to the Air Canada Center and he doesn't have to worry about James Dolan kicking him out. It's a win-win for everybody, except for Dolan, who will continue to lose for the rest of his life.
That's what I call a perfect answer. Sloppy question on my part. Cathryn, we're going to go to you next. And we can talk Nando a little bit.
Yeah, because I'm still like, I barely know who this guy is. And also too, just so all the listeners know, when Freddie messages us with the questions for the podcast, none of that detail was there about qualifying like contracts or rounds. None of that. All he said was, and I pulled it up, he wrote GTJ, no surprise, but are we still holding on to that Nando? Not even a question mark, just a period. And then he wrote, who's a former Raptor that you can't let go of? And what's a romantic gesture you can show them you still care? All in the same paragraph. I thought I was solving a riddle out here, trying to figure out what this message was. So, I mean, that made a little more sense.
I have to thank you for, like hanging out with me is solving a riddle. Reading that back. Yeah, there's many points that don't make sense. So all I can say is cheers. And we're here.
Great. It's great. It's all fun. I'm glad McCready didn't take my boy, because I got to go with Serge.
Oh, good choice.
Hey,
I thought about different scenarios. I thought about being like really funny and like picking like Jose Calderon and like rolling around in his pig farm in Spain, or like, or like picking somebody like Damon Stoudemire and just going like go-kart riding or something. Like, I try to think of like a lot of weird scenarios, but then when I really thought about it, my heart is with Serge Ibaka. That is the real answer. It would be Serge all the way. My romantic gesture would be, I would just bring him all his favorite takeout food from Toronto. All the food that he had here that he loved, that he probably misses. He loved that dim sum place on Spadina. Yeah, and I think there was this whole video of like this family that made food from back home, and they have like a whole restaurant like out in Scarborough or something. They'd make like special deliveries for him. Anyway, I would do that too. And then maybe like we'd go dancing, because he dances a lot, and like, he'll like introduce me to like new music, and maybe I'll even let him pick out my outfit beforehand, which I would never let any man do. But it's Serge, and he's very fashionable, and I feel like he would choose something fun for me to wear on this date. Not that any athlete wants to date me either. Definitely not. But maybe an assistant coach out there might give me a shot. I realize
Nick Nurse listens to the Arkells. He would surely date anybody, right?
His wife is a year younger than me.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
How old is Nick Nurse?
He's like 53 or something. He just had a birthday.
Wow.
Cheers.
I should do the math. Happy birthday.
HBD, Nikki.
But anyway, that would be my date. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think Serge would be a lot of fun.
Let me say that any athlete would be lucky to go on a date with either of you.
Thank you, Freddie.
Cathryn, that's another perfect answer. Yes, given Serge his family, his food comforts, going dancing. Maybe you could just like film a TV show on your date, because I feel like he likes filming stuff.
Sure, yeah.
This is wonderful. Maddie,
I don't want to eat any of that strange food, but I would do it if it was good for my career. You know what I mean?
I love how many like personal rules you're breaking for this date. You're like, listen, I wouldn't let somebody choose my dress, but Serge, and I wouldn't try any crazy foods, but Serge.
Right?
Yeah.
But I feel like these compromises make sense for him and me
totally
together.
He made compromises for us. He won a championship, and he's still like a starting center mostly.
Freddie, update on what you said earlier on any athlete dating us. I decided to take your advice, and Candace Parker has blocked me on Twitter.
What?
Okay. Fair.
I just asked her on a nice date, but I've been told that I've been blocked.
Yeah, Candace is a pretty serious catch. So I
went high. I took it truly to heart.
You went high. I'm gonna go I'm going for like an Earl Watson sort of thing first. You know what I mean? Like just to play it cool. Matty D, I think I know who your player is gonna be. I got a feeling. I feel like he might be, have a nickname, the Chuck Wagon. Enjoy some burgers from time to time. I don't know. Just a guess.
Friggin' straight. When I started producing this podcast and really started following the Raptors, he's the guy I was like, he's going to be here forever. I'm going to stick with this guy. I'm going to get his jersey, which his Facebook account still hasn't responded to my request.
Wow.
I can't get a Chuck Hayes 2014 jersey anywhere. But it would be Chuck Hayes. Now, there's two ways. Obviously, yes. There'd be like a trail of Grand Max.
Yes.
Luring him back to the Scotiabank Arena. But also, I'm going to lure him with the promise of a job. Now, there's something else I got to do here. Obviously, I'm high up in management to make this work. Mm-hmm. But I saw this crazy trade for Ben Simmons where we trade Lowry, OG, Fred, and the first round pick this year for Ben Simmons. So we're going to make that trade. Perfect. Sign and trade Lowry. Get rid of all that stuff. We got Ben Simmons now. But Ben Simmons needs a free throw coach. That's where Chuck Hayes comes in. Chuck Hayes will be Ben Simmons' personal free throw coach for the Toronto Raptors. He'll have a nice salary and, of course, free concessions at the Scotiabank Arena.
Another perfect answer. Go check out the Chuck Wagons mini web series from about, I feel like a decade ago, where he tastes different burgers. It's pretty great. But yeah, Matty D, you do know Chuck Hayes. You've seen his free throw, right?
Yeah. That he traveled. Yeah.
Wait, you know him?
He looks like
you know him. Know him?
No, I don't know him. I tried to reach out on Facebook to his fan group, but they didn't get back to me.
He is currently a development coach for the Denver Nuggets.
Oh,
wow! So we're gonna have to lure him away.
Lure him away.
But that means he's coaching, so it's possible.
Smoking weed with Jokic, is he?
Oh,
you never know. I do. Yeah, I assume all the Nuggets are basically just smoking weed nonstop.
What makes you say that? Oh, the altitude.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
because they're high. Oh, see,
mile high. Okay, you know what? I'm so sorry for the terrible string of jokes.
He might be a former development coach for the Nuggets. My bad.
Oh,
okay. Chuck Wagon.
I'm a real skimmer, so
sure. Us comedians, we skim. We skim.
You should try him on Insta, maybe.
Yeah, we'll reach out to Chuck, but my guy.
Sorry, go ahead.
He only has 4,551 followers on Instagram, which is not a lot for a former NBA player.
No, I have 1,600 on Facebook.
He will check your messages.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Matty D might be afraid because he's like, wow, this got real.
I'm
report
sorry,
later.
but that's the kind of friend I am. I try to make things happen.
Cathryn's a connector, Matty D. You're in trouble. She's gonna connect you to Chuck. Okay, I don't know where any of my bits are going, but my person.
I'm sorry, I took it to the next level.
It's good. My person is Rafer Alston. Skipped him.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
I absolutely loved him as a Raptor. I thought him becoming an N1 player and then an NBA player was basically the coolest thing anyone could do. And what I do is I don't know where he lives, but I would go to his house and I would basically like hire like as many of the best dribblers I could for like a giant like dribbling demonstration outside of his place, but like it would be like almost like Stomp where they would just hear the balls bouncing and he would come out and be like, what's going on? And he would see like all these people doing his tricks and being like doing like a big festival almost on his street, like honoring him. And he'd be like, what's all this about? What's all this about? And he'd meet me and then he'd be like extra confused because like it's me. But then, you know, like hopefully I'd have some other cool people with me and we'd bring him back to Toronto. I was also thinking like sort of development coach, like he could help our guys with dribbling, but I more so just want to like have him around. Like, you know, JYD had like the junkyard dog section for a bit. I feel like Rafer Alston like should have like a, I don't know, like a trick shot place in Scotiabank. He's cool and he's not honored enough. So that's where I'm coming from.
So, Freddie, are you just like Pied Pipering Rafer Alston back with like a bunch of street ballers? Is that your whole thing? Also, was this a dream and you just concocted this question around being able to tell it on the podcast and it not seeming completely nuts?
Listen, don't you ever read me so hard on my own pod again, okay? Absolutely busted. That's where all my like silly questions come from. I'm thinking weird basketball stuff. So I'm like, I got to force other people to listen to this and do this exercise. But you know what? I feel like usually people have better answers than me. And today was no different. So thanks, buddies. Okay, let's.
I think you could date Rafer Alston if you wanted to, Freddie.
Honestly, I'll shout him out. He probably has more followers than Hayes. But you know,
now I want to look that up.
Have a look, Cathryn.
He's a scout.
Okay, well, Cathryn's looking. Let's move over to the NBA, and she can kind of tell us what's up when we're there. Matty D, please, good sir, give me your most delicious Adam Silver tugboat sounding sting.
This is Adam Silver.
Whoa, this one's that was cool.
Rafer Alston has 36.5 thousand followers on Instagram.
Whoa.
Okay. Is that approachable?
Yeah, oddly enough, not verified.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get him verified, and that's how we get him.
Yeah, but it does really definitely appear to be him. And
I'm sure it's him.
Yeah,
there can't be another Rafer Alston with 30,000.
The only thing in his bio says blessed. That's it. That's his
Cheers. I can't believe he doesn't say skip to my Lou.
It doesn't say any of that. Just says blessed.
Wow,
okay,
new nickname.
Let's start on this.
Oh my God, he had a birthday party in Vegas, and then he posted the invite on his Instagram.
Hey, listen.
At least we know it's him.
You don't make fun of Rafer.
That
here,
very
okay?
clearly, but
that party would have been fun.
Yeah,
there would have been a bunch of people doing dribbling tricks. I'm sure. It's Vegas, right? Like
it's his only hobby.
Co-hosted by Mook, Diamond, and the Wet Girls.
Whoa!
Wow.
Freddie, you could have totally been a Wet Girls if you wanted to.
Could have, will be. You know, there's still time for me. All right, let's.
Sorry.
Let's get busy on this trade. I can kind of read through all the details. I feel like we, will have a pretty good. I have a pretty decent handle on it. But yeah, it's the Pelicans and the Grizzlies JV, Adams and Bledsoe are the players changing teams. And then Memphis is getting New Orleans 10th overall pick, and I think giving them their 17th. And I believe there's a couple other picks in that trade. Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about it a little bit online, but where are you at with this trade, McCready? Like, with the dust settling a bit on it.
Well, it seems like New Orleans is making a big play for somebody. I do think this is a good way for New Orleans to use their excess amounts of picks that they have, is to just make kind of little moves like this, incremental improvements, like dropping. Basically, they're just throwing a Lakers first that they have next year, top 10 protected, to move on from Eric Bledsoe and moving from 17 to 10. And also, I think that Valanciunas is an upgrade on Adams. I think it's a good move by kind of both teams, because there wasn't really much that Memphis could use their cap space for. They already have like 9 players in their rotation who are decent. So you might as well try to move up if there's somebody at 10 that you really want in the draft. Gives you a better chance to get them. I don't know. I thought it was a decent piece of business by both. But I think the major thing for Raptor fans is that it really seems like they're making a play for somebody. And by they, I mean New Orleans. So is it Conley? Probably not. He's probably going back to Utah. They need him a lot. They're in the championship contention mode. So maybe it's Kyle Lowry. And if Lowry goes to New Orleans, and that is the scuttlebutt, that makes a really interesting couple of lob threats and pick and roll threats for Lowry to work with. Kind of find it interesting as a Lowry fan. I'd hate to see him go, but at the same time, sometimes the sun needs to set before a new sun rises in the morning. You know that saying?
Oh, yeah. Double sun.
Yeah. Anyways, that's like 9 different points I threw out there. Converse.
No, I think what I want to go on is nice piece of business for both teams. That's what I'm feeling like a lot. I feel like both teams have it seems like, some trades are like, it seems like a kick at the can. This trade seems more like Memphis is, they're really focusing on the, perhaps someone in the draft, like you said, the guys they had, making sure their money's right and making sure they have who they want with Ja long term. And I don't necessarily think that's Bledsoe or Adams, but I do think, like you said, there's more to happen for Memphis and for New Orleans. To me, it's interesting. Like, I think I like the move more today than I did yesterday. I do think, however, there's, I don't know, not a lot of trust watching them try to be good with Paul and then try to be good with Davis. And it feels a little bit like we're starting that again with Zion. And I wonder if JV is the answer, but I also feel like the main thing is this isn't done. And yeah, if they get Kyle, it's not like they're getting rid of Bledsoe and Adams and just getting JV. It's like, well, then they'd be getting rid of Bledsoe and Adams for JV and Kyle. And I'm obviously a massive fan with Kyle, and I think he would greatly help guys like Zion and Ingram. And yeah, we'll see also what they do with Lonzo Ball there. What about you, Cathryn? What's your kind of like feel with this trade?
I still feel like I don't really get this trade. I don't love this trade. I don't really fully get it from either side. I think for both teams, this trade is a step in what's going to be multiple moves, like you're saying with the Pelicans, like, oh, they're freeing up space for free agency. It's really not just about getting JV. But I feel like that's got to be it for Memphis too. Like to trade JV away for Steven Adams and Eric Bledsoe. Like, I didn't watch a lot of Pelicans last year because they were really disappointing. And frankly, they didn't seem like it was worth my time. But you want to talk about winning a trade, Bledsoe for Drew Holiday? I mean, the Bucks really won that trade. I don't know where Bledsoe's at this stage in his career. I can't imagine the Grizzlies keeping Adams and Bledsoe. I imagine they plan on trading those guys, and they did it for more picks. I don't understand this move from their side at all, other than to have more draft picks and then to flip them for somebody else, hopefully somebody younger. And then on the Pelicans side, I mean, I'm sorry, what you were trying to re-up the 2018 Toronto Raptors in New Orleans? Like that's what
Pretty
they're
good team, though, you know?
But no, stop. No. I mean, come on. No. All right. Like this team.
I love the Raptors. I'm going on the record that I love the Toronto Raptors.
Oh my God.
You've ticked McCready off.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't think that makes sense. I think what they're trying to do by getting Kyle is trying to do what Phoenix did by getting Chris Paul, but Phoenix was way more ready for that leap than New Orleans is. I'm not convinced that the New Orleans Pelicans actually know what they're doing. And I think, sure, Kyle wants his money. Kyle might go, but I don't think they know what they're doing. I think they're just looking at like, oh, he's available. Oh, we could do this. Like, I'm not convinced. And I don't think that team might make the play-in next year. I'm not convinced they're going to be more than a first-round playoff team next year with Kyle. Like, I just, as great as Kyle is, like, I think there's a lot of dysfunction with the Pelicans. Like, I'm really not sold on this team. I know they're doing everything they can to keep Zion happy, but you kind of need to know what you're doing, and I don't think they do. So I think this is a weird trade. I don't think there's a major like win or a loss. I think maybe the Grizzlies technically win it a little bit because they got some picks, but I think JV is really good. I want him to do well and be well. Him and Zion together.
I disagree. I want
don't
JV
know.
to be sad, and I love the Toronto Raptors.
Why would I just like Zion and JV together? I don't know. Maybe it seems like they're going to be clogging the paint a little too much for each other because I mean JV can space the floor, but he's not like a 3-point shooter. So it's hard for me to picture, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely think there's like some clunkiness. I'm kind of confused with exactly, back to a point that was made like way earlier, by you, Cathryn, just like that so much of the league like is getting bigger and like more skilled. And, credit to JV. I always feel like he's someone who's like on that big man line, the league. It's like, he's like, surfing that wave of like the league's getting smaller and skilled, but also he's really like become the best possible version of himself and added a lot of skill. There's not a lot of, he shoots the three at a pretty good percentage, and
he's got great hands.
Great hands. Like he can score in the paint, with the best of them. And yeah, I think him and Zion both kind of want to live in the paint. And I think from a usage perspective, I'm not exactly sure what the plan would be. But I think the point I want to jump on the most, Cathryn, is that the Pelicans, I'm reserving a little bit of judgment right now, but we don't have any reason to trust them. This is the same franchise that has an owner that uses the same medical staff for the football team, New Orleans Saints, as they do for the basketball team, the Pelicans. So this isn't a franchise that has a good reputation for much of anything, honestly. But, teams change, things happen. This year was pretty wild. If you think about like, they put together a decent group around Trey, and he took a team far, and Phoenix was amazing. And I think you see it there with Luka, right? You see like, oh man, like he doesn't need that much help. Like he needs a bit more, and he keeps playing like the Clippers, which is hard. But anyways, yeah, I feel like there is this kind of want to potentially bottle the talent of a really young player, which makes sense.
Yeah, and Valanciunas' beard is amazing.
100%. It's one of the best beards. Listen, if you walk down the Ossington Strip in Toronto, you won't see a better beard.
Well, who won the trade in terms of beards? The Pelicans with Jonas Valanciunas or Memphis with Steven Adams?
Yeah, wow. And I mean, like,
and we're not even talking the draft picks
yet. Amazing soul patch now.
Honestly, once everybody gets drafted, we have to go back to this trade and like add the beards together.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, Cathryn, actually, no, sorry. Let me start this one with McCready. And this is like, yeah, I don't know which way you want to go with this, but, we're in draft territory. I feel like the draft is always a fun place for like takes of all kind, like measured takes from people who are really kind of like studying, but then also like hot takes for people who are just diving in like me. But yeah, like who, in your opinion, like which franchise like exudes good drafting? Like, who's the best drafting franchise?
Right. I think that's a tough question to ask. I also think that it's worth
Very
remembering
subjective,
how much luck is involved in the draft.
Right.
People can only be, when you're selecting a player, you have no control over their injuries that they're going to get in the future. You have no control over like what outside forces in their lives people can get into. You know, people might develop a real taste for partying. On the opposite end, people might just really hunker down and change as a person and want to devote their entire lives to basketball.
Yep.
And as a franchise, you can kind of push people in that direction. But at the same time, people are in charge of their own lives. You never really know what can happen. So that being said, I think if you're going to like look at what teams have a success in drafting, I would look more at who's had bigger instances of like super success as opposed to like who's done like a good job of like kind of moving things along.
Right.
I think the Raptors are actually kind of up there. But if I had to pick like one team, I'd probably go with OKC, weirdly enough, historically, just based on, getting Serge Ibaka at like 21 or 22, who was just a terror before his knee injury. I bring that up a lot when I come on this podcast, but he averaged like 4.5 blocks a game in his prime.
He was in the dunk contest.
Oh, he's amazing. Durant obviously is a killer pick. It's not, they have the second pick, and he was clearly a number 2, if not number 1 in that draft. Hello, my wife just popped in to say hi. Hey, she gave Durant a thumbs down. Maybe it was a bad pick.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and then Harden obviously was like not a consensus at all, and Westbrook, I remember at the time, was considered a reach when they grabbed him. So I mean, like for those picks alone, you kind of have to like the history of kind of what they've done. What's his name? Reggie Jackson was a late round pick of theirs. Steven Adams. I was going to say,
I know we were making fun of him, but Steven Adams, yeah, he's had a productive career.
Fantastic pick for number 12. You're lucky if you're going to get a starter at number 12, So he's made like $200 million in his career. So OKC is my choice, but I'm open to any other arguments. As a renowned 2018 Toronto Raptors fan, I'm open to all sorts of different ideas. As the only Raptor fan on this podcast, please, I'd like to hear another opinion.
I didn't want to say it, but I'm no longer a Raptors fan. Raptors 905. That's my team. No, but I think it's a great answer, actually. Like, I think we're gonna get some different answers here. And OKC, yeah, talk about hitting a bullseye. Like, what franchise in recent memory has drafted, several MVPs consecutively, basically,
And the funniest player of the last 10 years, Pokuševski, like just
100%.
For pure if you're going to tank a team, that's the best possible choice you could take. Like, so funny, so ridiculous, and so bad. Go ahead, Freddie.
I will say, though, he is funny, I think, because you do see him do things that, it's almost like Bruno territory where you're like, are you going to be amazing? Oh, no, wait, you're really bad. Okay. But then, you look at him again, you're like, hold on, are you amazing?
Oh, the flashes are amazing. He has flashes of a great player.
And his length and everything is wild. Yeah, Cathryn, what, take this question whichever way you want. Like, who exudes, good drafting in your opinion?
Well, I think McCready hit it. Like, I think that's absolutely the answer, the definitive answer of the last decade, maybe a bit more than a decade. So let's put this as a runner-up team,
sure,
other than the Raptors, because I think everyone who listens to this knows how good the Raptors are at drafting. I put down the Milwaukee Bucks.
Nice.
Because they drafted Giannis, but also the year before they drafted Chris Middleton as a second-round pick, and they also drafted Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know, obviously it was a bad move that they traded him, but they did draft him, and he turned out to be really great. And then they also drafted, according to Wikipedia, 2 former Raptors. Norm Powell and Pat McCaw.
Wow, I didn't know they grabbed McCaw.
Yeah, I didn't know they got McCaw either. I know the Norm trade.
Norm was a pick made by the Raptors front office. Like, the trade happened beforehand, and so they picked him on behalf of the Raptors. So that's just more ammunition to the Raptors being great.
Okay, well, I'm not against that. But anyway, I just thought, like, oh, that's actually a nice little run of picks there by that team.
Totally.
Mhm.
Dante DiVincenzo was also a good recent
Yes.
pick.
And he's
In
someone
2018, your favorite year.
hey, best year ever.
The Raptors' undoubtedly best year.
100%. Didn't go
I
up.
stopped being a fan of theirs that year, so I don't know what happened since, but I think that was their best year.
Totally. Sorry, just had a quick thought. I can't believe for the Raptor segment, none of us, like the player to bring back, none of us picked Luis Suola. I don't know why. He's looking good for Argentina, but hey, maybe next time I ask that question.
He's up there with Serge for handsomest Raptor of all time.
He's handsome.
Only now though, not when he played.
Oh, his hair, his beautiful long.
No, you can have him.
He's
He's all
my-
yours.
Hey.
He is all yours.
Wow, we're sharing Luis Suola, I guess now.
I'll take him when he's young. You can have him when he's older.
Okay, fair. Got it.
Cathryn, I love the Bucks pick because OKC. I think my team definitely doesn't have the hit ratio of OKC and Presti and whatever. I don't know where exactly the Seattle OKC line is, but I still think regardless, Durant counts for sure. As far as management, I think, but regardless, the Bucks showed how you can take your picks and make your franchise a champion. And when I was skimming through this question, I almost picked when McCready described earlier, there's a certain skill level of the Utah Jazzes and
Jazz are good.
those kind of squads that can be really, really good and seemingly find talent everywhere and develop them. But I kind of wanted to go for a higher end. So I actually took Golden State. I think if you look at what they did with, Barnes, Curry, Clay, Draymond, in fairly quick succession, I think they've had some notable, I don't want to say busts, but notable, the Jordan Pooles of the world and that sort of thing, guys that didn't continue to fuel that dynasty, but really they have their team from the draft. So as much as, a team like Miami or Utah is kind of they have this clever reputation. I feel like winning at the highest level is the ultimate goal. And they honestly, they obviously traded for Durant afterwards, but they'd won one championship already, right? I think. Yeah. So the team was there. So Golden State's my pick. But
fair,
yeah.
good choice.
Good one.
Yeah, I thought we made some good choices, and I'll throw this as the only person on this podcast who outright hates the Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
They're brutal at drafting. Sorry, Jakob Poeltl. No, Jakob Poeltl's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's a solid pick.
No one even believed I should have said Bargnani.
Bargnani's probably their all-time worst pick.
If I'm trying to make that case, I should have said Arujo or Bargnani.
Oh no, Arujo. Arujo's their worst pick.
Yeah.
24-year-old steroid abuser. What are you doing?
Not good. Little love to Nathan Joy, the Aussie Shaq. A deep cut for some listeners. Okay, I'm getting.
If it hits you, it hits hard. I had a big laugh at that.
Right? If Nathan Joy hits, yeah. Okay, let's
call that a joke? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, this is good. Josh Giddey. I'm getting Josh Giddey. Okay, let's do some quickish questions. I think we've arrived at the silly portion of the pod. Matty D, please, good sir, give me that quickish questions. Sting.
Quickish Questions.
On it quick. Let's make it quick.
Quickish.
Ba-da-ba-da-dow.
Quick.
Is that Matty D? Is that your way of being hey, McCready, I don't like your scatting. I scat.
Oh no, I
Or are you two working together?
we're working together, I think.
That's what Matts do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's why I've always loved Matt Devlin's work, a flawless
Me too.
broadcaster.
Oh yeah, never makes a mistake. Especially not with Peja Stojakovic. Let's do some quickish questions. I'm gonna read through these questions, try and make some sense. Who knows if I will? Might stutter, might slur. Doesn't matter. You can't stall. You have to answer as quickly as you possibly can. Can't phone a friend. Can't repeat the question back to me. No delaying, no hijinks, Maddie D. I think we're good to go. Shall we?
Okay.
All right, let's go McCready, Cathryn, Maddie D. McCready,
Yes.
which prospect outside of the top 4 will have the best career?
You know, there's so many chances for busts. I'm just going to go with the person who I think will play in the league for 15 years. Trey Murphy III.
Love it. Cathryn, is this the order of the top 4? Cade, Mobley, Green, Suggs.
Yes.
Maddie D.
Mhm.
Do we place too much emphasis on top 5 prospects?
No.
Cheers.
Yes or no questions.
Oh no, this is good. This is efficient. You know what? We're gonna. I'll do one more for McCready because he got a special one. Then we're making an all play. McCready, off topic, but how is Matt McCready so buff?
Yes.
Okay. You got it. Hey, it's a yes or no world. It's a yes or no world, Doug.
Who wrote that?
Friend of yours, Josh.
Murray?
That's right.
Oh, man, that guy's obsessed with bodies. He's got to calm down.
Cathryn. Sorry, I'm starting with McCready because we're doing an all play. Oh, wait a second. This question's way better than I thought, even. I'm glad that I read it again carefully. From also friend of the pod, Patrick Ronan Stewart. Okay, here we go. McCready.
Mhm.
What would your dream draft hat be?
Oh, one that says Adam Silver apologized to Masai, because then he has to hand it to me and I get to put it on right in his fucking face.
That would be fucking amazing. Oh my God, that's a very good answer. Sorry, Cathryn, no pressure. What?
Oh my God.
Yeah, what would your dream draft hat be?
I mean, I feel like I got to one up this message. So I think mine will say Nick Nurse is my husband and Trae Young is our son.
Wow, I love how you're just starting a family. Cheers.
I'd love it if everyone had to put on that hat too in the draft. 30 guys.
Okay,
That's what it would
good.
look like if I ran the league.
I love that we went from yes or no to like we're going for it. Maddie D. What would your dream draft hat be?
Well, I'll tell you also where I'd like this dream draft to take place. I would like it to happen at Wonderland. Okay. And whoever gets drafted gets one of those sweet cat in the hat that they sell at Wonderland. I think that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a little humor in the draft.
Sure, a tall hat. That's where I would go with this question.
Everyone, a little humor in the draft, so you see the same joke for like 45 minutes. Straight.
Yeah, I'm a bit of
no heightening, immediately to a 10,
So
and then we
many
never
cat in the
stop.
hats in the garbage now. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. Yeah, it's Mardi Gras. It's
There's
Mardi
just
Gras.
a garbage can on the stage for people to throw it away.
This is good. I like that you guys are also thinking about hat disposal in this.
What if
scenario.
you just like when you take it off and you put it on Adam Silver's head and then you have to keep adding on to it?
Oh, that's
There
good
you
too.
go.
Hat
I
Jenga.
like that.
And if you can't stack the hat, you don't get drafted. And people are like, "Whoa, I'm good at basketball." It's like stack the hat, buddy. Okay.
Buddy.
We've gone off the rails a bunch, and this has been a good pod. This was Quickish Questions. Thank you both so much. Thanks everyone who's listening, by the way, and supporting us and all that good stuff. We really, really do appreciate it. Mr. McCready, let's go to you first.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? What do you want to tell people?
Yeah, I'm performing on October 21st through 28th at the Chuckle Hutch on Broadview and Queen. I'm doing a 2-hour stand-up set. Just telling some stories about my life. At one point, I get out the ukulele, which I don't know how to play. But then I improvise some songs for about 20 or 35 minutes. And then I tell a political pun that doesn't make sense. So if you want to come down, it's $45, and it includes a beer.
Wow. I mean, I know I've seen Matt perform, and that's an action-packed promise. You go check that out. If you've ever been to a Fringe show, this isn't that. This is
there's a lot of green screen. Okay, so get ready for it.
Yeah, it's like big tech,
but it is live, so you just see the screen.
Cool. No, yeah, I think people would like that.
Wait,
okay.
McCready, do you have a performance of any kind?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, the Social Capital Theater is probably going to restart in September, but is that going to entice people to do anything with their lives? Maybe.
I mean, for I started clapping because it's like, oh, you're performing, exciting. And then I was like, oh, it's just a joke.
It's just a fucking bit.
I wanted you to have a real show.
It was a good bit, though.
I'm sorry. The Chuckle Hutch does not exist. Please do not go down to Broadview and Queen and try to find a stage.
I love that it's the Chuckle Hutch, because I worked in restaurants for a long time, and the word hutch, thanks for not saying hut. Yeah. I have a very specific image in my mind. Cathryn, what's up? Talk to people. Tell them what's up.
Basically the usual. Like Freddie said, we have a WNBA pod called The Pickup. And I have my Buckets and Tea NBA pod, so you can check that out as well. And I don't have any shows booked, but I'd like to. I'm also trying to move back to Toronto. It's a whole situation.
Woo!
You're teaching a class at Bad Dog, aren't you?
Oh, I'm teaching a class at Bad Dog. Oh, that's so nice. Yes,
yeah.
I'm teaching
How can
writing.
People register?
I guess on Bad Dog's website, or you can link to it through their Instagram or Twitter, I guess. I'm teaching writing satire. So doing headline jokes, doing like desk jokes, political satire, getting to the nitty gritty of what it means to do political satire and be a satirist. So yeah, check that out.
And I'm teaching a class at the Chuckle Hutch. It's how to make French fries. It's 9 weeks long.
How to make French fries.
9 weeks.
I love that
long.
It's 9 weeks long.
And guess what? You don't get to eat any fries.
No. At the class show, you get to eat some fries afterwards.
Oh, that's good. McDonald's fries, all right.
Well, invite me to the class show.
I will. We have to find a venue. Chuckle Hutch isn't interested, but I'll let you guys know.
Okay, let us know. McCready will keep us updated. And yeah, again, thanks everyone for listening. This was a fun time. Maddie D, if you feel like we're good to go, please, sir, just give me those sweet words. Okay.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.